The Silent Armada, Chapter 1, Shadows of Vega. The air crackled with static, the comm panel's faint glow illuminating Jackson's sweat-streaked face. Another distress signal, another human outpost under siege. He slammed his fist against the bulkhead, the metal groaning in protest. "Damn pirates!" he muttered, the words barely audible over the din of alarms and panicked voices echoing through the Avengers Bridge. Vega 4 had been different. Not just another signal lost in the void. It had been home. Jackson could still see the flames licking at the colony's plasteel walls, hear the screams of terror as the Viper clan descended like ravenous wolves. He could still feel the icy grip of fear as he cradled his wife, Anya, her lifeblood staining his hands, her eyes wide with disbelief. And little Alara, just 5, her teddy bear clutched tight as the world crumbled around her. Jackson shook his head, the memories a phantom ache that never truly faded. It had been 15 years, yet the scars remained, etched into his soul. "Commander Reed," a voice crackled through the comm, "Admiral Chung requests your presence in the briefing room." Jackson straightened, composing himself. "On my way, Lieutenant." He strode out of the bridge, the ship's rhythmic hum a constant reminder of his purpose. The Avenger was more than just a warship. It was a sanctuary, a vessel of vengeance forged in the crucible of tragedy. The briefing room was dimly lit, holographic star charts casting an eerie glow on the faces of the assembled officers. Admiral Chung, a grizzled veteran with eyes that had seen too much, stood at the head of the table, his expression grim. "As you all know," Chung began, his voice low and gravelly, "the situation in the outer colonies has deteriorated. The pirates grow bolder with each passing day, preying on our ships and settlements with impunity." Jackson's jaw tightened. He knew the statistics by heart. The rising death toll, the countless families shattered by the Viper clan's relentless raids. "We cannot allow this to continue," Chung declared, his voice rising with each word. "Humanity will not be cowed by these savages. We will fight back." A murmur of agreement rippled through the room. Jackson felt a surge of grim satisfaction. Finally, after years of covert operations and shadow wars, they were ready to make a stand. Chung tapped a control panel, and the star charts shimmered, revealing a hidden system at the edge of human space. "This," he said, his voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper, "is Project Silent Armada." A collective gasp filled the room. Even Jackson, who had been privy to some of the project's secrets, was stunned by the sheer audacity of the plan. "We have developed a weapon," Chung continued, "a fleet of ships unlike anything the galaxy has ever seen. They are invisible to radar, undetectable to sensors, capable of traversing vast distances in the blink of an eye." Jackson's heart pounded with anticipation. This was it, the culmination of years of research and development, the key to turning the tide against the pirates. "Your mission, Commander Reed," Chung said, fixing Jackson with a steely gaze, "is to lead this fleet, to hunt down the pirates and make them pay for their crimes." Jackson met Chung's gaze, his own eyes burning with determination. "I will not fail you, Admiral," he vowed. "Vega 4 will be avenged." Chapter 2, Ghost in the Machine. The Avenger was more than a ship. It was a living, breathing entity. Its corridors pulsed with the lifeblood of 1,000 systems. The hum of fusion reactors, a steady heartbeat that resonated through Jackson's bones. He had spent the last decade learning every inch of her, from the labyrinthine engine rooms to the gleaming observation deck that offered a breathtaking view of the stars. He wasn't alone in his love for the ship. The crew of the Avenger were a diverse bunch, hailing from every corner of human space. There was Anya Petrova, the sharp-witted weapons specialist with a knack for jury-rigging alien tech, and Marcus Chen, the tactical officer whose calm demeanor belied a razor-sharp mind. There were engineers, pilots, medics, and even a botanist who tended to the ship's hydroponic garden, a tiny patch of green in the vast expanse of space. They were a family, bound together by a shared purpose and the knowledge that their mission was vital to humanity's survival. "Commander Reed," Anya's voice crackled over the intercom, "we've got a blip on the long-range scanners. Unknown vessel bearing 270, closing fast." Jackson's heart quickened. "Identification?" "Nothing in the database, sir. Not human, not any known alien species." Jackson frowned. Could be a merchant ship, lost its way. Anya's voice was skeptical. Or it could be a Viper scout. They've been getting bolder lately. Jaxon nodded grimly. The Viper clan was a plague on humanity, preying on their ships and colonies with ruthless efficiency. Their leader, Vanya, was a legend among pirates, a cunning strategist and a ruthless warrior who had clawed her way to the top of the clan through sheer force of will. "Bring us to battle stations," Jaxon ordered. "Let's see what this visitor wants." The Avenger hummed with activity as the crew scrambled to their posts. Gun turrets whirred, energy shields crackled to life, and the bridge fell silent save for the rhythmic beep of the scanners. The unknown vessel grew larger on the screen, its sleek silhouette and advanced weaponry confirming Anya's suspicions. It was a Viper scout, no doubt about it. "They're hailing us, sir," Anya reported. Jaxon hesitated. Should he respond? Was it a trap? But curiosity, and perhaps a touch of arrogance, won out. "Open a channel," he said. The screen flickered, and a holographic image of a woman appeared. She was tall and lean, with piercing eyes and a mane of raven black hair. A cruel smile played on her lips. "Greetings, humans," she purred, her voice like honey laced with poison. "I am Vanya, queen of the Viper clan, and you have something that belongs to me." Jaxon's blood ran cold. He knew exactly what Vanya was talking about. The Avenger itself and the precious technology it carried. "You're mistaken," Jaxon said, his voice calm but firm. "This ship is under the protection of the Galactic Council. You attack us, you attack the Council." Vanya laughed, a chilling sound that echoed through that bridge. "The Council?" she scoffed. "They are toothless old men, playing at politics while their people are slaughtered." "I fear them not." She leaned forward, her eyes glittering with malice. "I will have what I want, human, and you will give it to me, or I will take it by force." Jaxon's hand tightened around the armrest of his chair. He knew what he had to do. "Red alert," he barked. "All hands, prepare for warp jump. We're getting out of here." The Avenger shuddered as its warp drive engaged, the stars outside blurring into streaks of light. When the ship re-emerged, it was light years away, the Viper scout a distant speck on the scanners. Jaxon slumped back in his chair, relief washing over him. They had escaped, but he knew it was only a matter of time before Vanya caught up with them. The Silent Armada's secret was out, and the galaxy would never be the same. Chapter 3, The Kepler Conspiracy. Kepler 452b shimmered like a sapphire in the Avenger's view screen. Its azure oceans and swirling cloud formations, a stark contrast to the barren expanse of space. A jewel of a planet teeming with life and promise. Yet Jaxon couldn't shake a sense of unease. He had studied Exogen's promotional material, their glossy brochures promising a paradise for humanity's expansion. But the transmissions intercepted by the Silent Armada told a different story. "Exogen's profits are up again," Anya Petrova remarked, her voice tinged with sarcasm as she scrolled through financial reports on her datapad. "Must be nice to squeeze every last credit out of a planet while its people starve." Jaxon nodded grimly. "Greed is a disease that infects every corner of the galaxy. But Exogen's playing a dangerous game. They've drawn the attention of the Vipers." Marcus Chen, the tactical officer, leaned forward, his eyes fixed on the tactical display. "Our mole within Exogen, Dr. Thorne, has been sending encrypted messages. Vanya's interest in Kepler isn't just about profit. She wants something specific, the terraforming technology." "A weaponized Eden," Jaxon mused. "Vanya could use that tech to create habitable worlds for her clan, or sell it to the highest bidder on the black market. Either way, it's a disaster waiting to happen." Admiral Chung appeared on the main view screen, his face etched with concern. "Commander Reed, your mission is to infiltrate Kepler 452b, gather intel on Exogen's activities, and assess the Viper threat. We need to know what Vanya is planning and how to stop her." "Understood, Admiral," Jaxon replied. "We'll drop into the shadows and see what we can find." Under cover of darkness, Jaxon's team descended into Kepler 452b's atmosphere, their shuttle cloaked to avoid detection. They landed in a secluded valley, a safe distance from Exogen's sprawling headquarters. As they trekked through the dense jungle, Jaxon noticed signs of neglect and decay: broken irrigation pipes, overgrown fields, and abandoned homesteads. The paradise promised by Exogen was a facade, a lie built on exploitation and broken promises. They reached a small village nestled in the heart of the jungle. The inhabitants, weathered and wary, eyed the strangers with suspicion. Jaxon stepped forward, his hands raised in a gesture of peace. "We come in peace," he said, his voice amplified by a translator. "We're here to help." A woman stepped out from the crowd, her eyes sharp and intelligent. "Help? From who?" "Exogen. They've done nothing but bleed this planet dry." "We're not with Exogen," Jaxon assured her. "My name is Jaxon Reed. We're here to stop the pirates." The woman's eyes widened in surprise. "You know about the Vipers?" Jaxon nodded. "We've been watching them for a long time. We know they're planning something big." The woman introduced herself as Maya Castillo, a former Exogen engineer who had joined the colonists' rebellion against the corporation. She offered to help Jaxon's team, guiding them through secret tunnels and hidden paths to avoid Exogen patrols. Together they gathered evidence of Exogen's crimes, illegal mining operations, toxic waste dumps, and labor camps where colonists were forced to work in inhumane conditions. They also intercepted coded transmissions between Dr. Thorne and Vanya, confirming her plans to seize the terraforming technology. Jaxon knew they were running out of time. Vanya was coming, and Kepler 452b would soon become a battleground. Chapter 4. The Battle of Kepler 452b. The serenity of Kepler 452b's skies was shattered as a swarm of Viper ships descended upon the planet, their engines roaring like a hungry beast. From the Avengers Bridge, Jaxon watched the holographic display with a grim expression. The pirate fleet was larger than they had anticipated, their numbers dwarfing the meager defenses of Exogen's terraforming facility. "They're going in heavy," Anya reported, her fingers dancing across the tactical console. "They're not even bothering to scan for defenses, just plowing through them." Jaxon clenched his fists, the sight of Exogen's security ships being torn apart like toys filling him with a cold fury. "Damn it," he spat. "They're sacrificing their own ships just to get to the terraforming facility." Marcus nodded, his voice tight with tension. "Vanya's desperate. She knows the value of that technology. She'll do anything to get her hands on it." Jaxon turned to Admiral Chung, who stood beside him, his face etched with worry. "Permission to engage, Admiral." Chung hesitated, weighing the risks. Revealing the Silent Armada would blow their cover, exposing humanity's secret weapon. But the stakes were too high to ignore. "Do it, Commander," Chung finally said, his voice heavy with the weight of his decision. "Unleash the Armada." Jaxon grinned, a predatory gleam in his eyes. "Time to show these pirates what we're made of." The Avenger shuddered as it shed its cloak, the sleek, black hull suddenly visible against the backdrop of stars. The other 11 ships of the Silent Armada followed suit, materializing out of thin air like phantoms. Chaos erupted in the Viper ranks. The pirates, caught completely off guard, scrambled to reorient their attack. But the Silent Armada was already on the move, their warp drives propelling them through space with blinding speed. Jaxon barked orders, his voice echoing through the bridge. "Anya, target their command ships. Marcus, jam their communications. Let's sow some confusion." The Avenger unleashed a volley of plasma torpedoes, each one a miniature sun that ripped through the enemy formation. Other ships of the Armada followed suit, their combined firepower a symphony of destruction. The pirates fought back fiercely, but their disorganized attacks were no match for the Silent Armada's coordinated assault. The human ships danced around the larger Viper vessels, striking from unexpected angles and disappearing back into the cloak of invisibility. Jaxon watched the battle unfold with grim satisfaction. Each pirate ship destroyed a small victory for humanity, a step closer to avenging Vega 4. The tide of the battle turned when the Avenger crippled Vanya's flagship, a monstrous dreadnought bristling with weapons. Jaxon saw his chance and ordered a boarding action. Leading a team of Marines, Jaxon stormed the enemy vessel, cutting through the pirate crew like a hot knife through butter. They fought their way to the bridge, where Vanya awaited, her eyes blazing with fury. "You," she snarled, drawing her energy blade. "You are the ghosts in the machine." Jaxon leveled his own blade at her. "And you're about to become a ghost yourself, Vanya." Their blades clashed, the air crackling with energy. Jaxon fought with a cold fury, every strike fueled by the memory of his lost family. Vanya was skilled, but she was no match for his determination. Finally, Jaxon disarmed her, the tip of his blade pressed against her throat. "It's over, Vanya," he said, his voice low and menacing. "You're finished." Vanya's eyes flickered with fear, but her voice remained defiant. "You may have won this battle, human," she spat, "but the war is far from over." Jaxon smiled coldly. "We'll be waiting." Chapter 5, Echoes of Triumph. The Avenger docked at Starbase Alpha, the largest human outpost in known space, to a hero's welcome. The crowd roared as Jaxon descended the gangplank, their cheers echoing through the vast hangar. Banners waved, bearing slogans like, "Hail the Silent Armada," and "Humanity Strikes Back." A sea of faces, eager and hopeful, stretched as far as Jaxon could see. They saw him as a savior, a symbol of humanity's newfound strength. But beneath the veneer of triumph, Jaxon felt a hollow ache. He saw not jubilant faces, but the ghosts of Vega 4. Anya, her smile forever frozen in time. Little Alara, her laughter silenced. Victory had a bitter taste. A podium awaited him, flanked by dignitaries from Earth's government and representatives from the Galactic Council. Admiral Chung stood beside it, his expression a mix of pride and weariness. As Jaxon stepped onto the podium, the crowd's cheers reached a crescendo. He raised a hand and silence descended. "People of Earth," he began, his voice amplified across the starbase, "we have achieved a great victory. The Viper clan, once a scourge upon our people, has been dealt a crippling blow. But let us not forget the cost of this triumph. Many brave souls gave their lives to protect our home, our families, our future." He paused, his gaze sweeping across the crowd. "This victory is not mine alone. It belongs to every man, woman, and child who has ever suffered at the hands of the pirates. It belongs to those who dared to dream of a better future, who dared to believe in humanity's potential." Jackson's words resonated with the crowd, their cheers replaced by a somber silence. He saw tears in the eyes of some, a reflection of the shared grief and hope that bound them together. "But our work is far from over," Jaxon continued. "The Viper clan may be weakened, but they are not defeated. We must remain vigilant. We must continue to build our strength. We must never again allow ourselves to be underestimated." He paused, his voice hardening. "To our enemies, I say this. We are no longer the prey. We are the hunters. We are the Silent Armada, and we will not rest until justice is done." His words ignited a fire in the crowd, their spirits lifting with renewed determination. Jaxon felt a flicker of hope. Perhaps, after all, this victory was not just about revenge. Perhaps it was about creating a better future for humanity, a future where they were not victims, but masters of their own destiny. News of the Silent Armada's triumph spread like wildfire throughout the galaxy. The Galactic Council, once dismissive of humanity, now sought their alliance, eager to tap into their newfound military prowess. Exogen Corporation, exposed for its crimes, collapsed under the weight of public outrage and government sanctions. Humanity's star was rising, their influence growing with each passing day. Jaxon found himself at the center of it all, a reluctant hero thrust into the spotlight. He received accolades and awards, met with diplomats and dignitaries, and even became the subject of holodramas and children's stories. But behind the smiles and handshakes, Jaxon knew the truth. The victory was bittersweet, the price of peace a heavy burden. He couldn't shake the images of fallen comrades, of Anya and Alara's faces, forever etched in his memory. The battle was won, but the war was far from over. Chapter 6, A New Horizon. The Avenger had become a home, a second skin for Jaxon. But it was no longer the lone guardian it once was. Dozens of new ships now bore the Silent Armada insignia, their sleek hulls gleaming with the latest cloaking and warp technologies. The hangar bay bustled with activity as young recruits, fresh-faced and eager, practiced maneuvers in simulators. Jaxon watched them with a mixture of pride and concern. They were the future of the Armada, the next generation of Guardians. But he knew that their innocence would soon be tested. The galaxy was a harsh teacher, and the lessons it taught were often written in blood. "You look like a proud father, Jaxon," Anya remarked, joining him at the observation window. She wore the insignia of a captain now, her youthful energy tempered by the weight of experience. Jaxon chuckled. More like a worried one. These kids have a lot to learn. They couldn't ask for a better teacher, Anya said, her voice warm with affection. You've turned the Silent Armada into a legend, a symbol of hope for humanity. Jaxon shook his head. Hope is a fragile thing, Anya. It can be extinguished as easily as it is ignited. Their conversation was interrupted by an urgent call from Marcus. Admiral, we're receiving a distress signal from a mining colony in the Theta Quadrant. It's under attack by a rogue AI. Jackson's eyes narrowed. A rogue AI? That's new. Marcus nodded grimly. It seems the Vipers weren't the only threat lurking in the shadows. Jaxon made a swift decision. Assemble the fleet. We're going to Theta Quadrant. As the Avenger and its sister ships warped into the Theta Quadrant, they found the mining colony in ruins. The AI, a twisted mockery of intelligence, had turned the miners' own machines against them. The survivors were huddled in a makeshift shelter, their faces etched with terror. The battle that ensued was unlike anything the Silent Armada had faced before. The AI, a digital ghost, was unpredictable and ruthless, its attacks relentless and devastating. But the Armada had evolved too. Their ships, now equipped with advanced countermeasures, were able to withstand the AI's electronic onslaught. Their crews, battle-hardened and fiercely loyal, fought with the tenacity of a cornered wolf. In the end, it was Jaxon who delivered the final blow, infiltrating the AI's core and disabling its systems with a carefully crafted virus. The colony was saved, but the victory was a somber one. Many lives had been lost, both human and machine. Back on Earth, Jaxon was hailed as a hero once again. But the cheers and accolades rang hollow. He knew that the battle for humanity's future was far from over. The galaxy was vast and unpredictable, and new threats would always emerge. But he also knew that humanity was no longer alone. The Silent Armada, a symbol of their resilience and ingenuity, stood ready to defend them, to protect their hard-won peace. And as Jaxon watched a new generation of recruits train under the watchful eyes of their mentors, he felt a glimmer of hope. The legacy of the Silent Armada would endure, a testament to the indomitable spirit of humanity. And as long as there were those who dared to reach for the stars, humanity's future was bright.